Yes. So basically, if I have to put it in a very straightforward, simple, single line, it is vegetarian without the dairy becomes vegan. It's simple. So you just cut out the dairy from a vegetarian's life, also honey, and that is an animal product as well. So basically, any animal product is avoided, and then you're just stuck with vegan. So vegan is something that you just replace all the dairy elements with plant-based elements. So even I want to share a little something about how I became vegan, because I'm not scientifically, I didn't do anything. It's just over experience. And of course, today we are also going to talk about the psychological part of it. But just to say how I began my journey, it was very simple. Like most women, when you get married, you suddenly find yourself in the kitchen, and you find yourself like an alien, not knowing what to do with all the elements there. But I started cooking for a joint family initially, and it was a beautiful way to bring the whole family together on the dining table. But when I had my daughters, I realized that the nutritional value of food matters. Okay, so then I started kind of experimenting with the recipes, the traditional recipes, making them more healthier. I would call up my eye. Many of you follow my page, have seen my eye on it. So she helped me to understand the traditional recipes, but I tried to make them more contemporary, more healthier, using methods of cooking like steaming, baking, grilling instead of frying, and so on. So that is how I started cooking, mainly with the concept that let me help my daughters eat more healthy food. At the same time, I didn't want them to lose their love for the traditional food. And we have such beautiful food in India. So that's how it all started. And 6 years back, about 7 years back, I decided on a whim with my daughters that let's just try how vegan works for us. And because I was already a vegetarian, so it was not as tough for me. But being vegan initially, I will tell you honestly, the toughest part was to give up the morning chai. Okay, getting up in the morning, the first thing you look for is that happy ginger and lemongrass flavors, aroma all over the house. But I still have it. I still have it. I've just replaced the dairy milk. Instead of that, I have almond milk or cashew milk or coconut milk, and I feel like it helps me with my gut health. So that is how I started this journey, and that's how I became vegan. And it's been 6 to 7 years almost now I'm vegan, and I feel more healthy. And I have been through that whole perimenopause, menopause. Now I'm in post-menopause stage. So yes, it helped me ease all the symptoms for sure. Absolutely agree with you, because most times everyone kind of thinks that it's so difficult and why should I give up, because fish is good for you as per the fish eating people in the coastal areas, rightly, like you said. But today, in fact, I don't know if you've seen this documentary. It's called Seaspiracy. If you just have a look at it, I would recommend watching it just for your knowledge. But it does happen today that there are a lot of industrial pollutants in the sea. There's a lot of farming of fish happening, which kind of adulterates the fish that we eat. So of course you still need to balance it out, and nobody needs to kind of just eliminate certain food items from their daily or regular diet. What you can do is just balance it with starting with something like meat-free Mondays, or you just do like 2 days a week being plant-based. It's so simple as that. Nobody needs to completely change their lifestyle. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So just take your time with it. Just make small changes in the kitchen. Try and replace a few elements here and there. And just a few days of a week also, when you start gradually, maybe you will start enjoying it. It also works for sustainability of the environment and so on. And to be real, in our Indian context, if you see any religion, it has always had fasting as a part of its culture, correct? So that
Yes.
comes from that thought that you give a break to your body, because yes, these foods definitely make you kind of feel more heavy. It's a little heavy on the gut, especially meat, red meat, that kind of stuff. So just give a little break to your body, take it in steps. And there is so much protein even in your regular food. If you're talking about omega-3, flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, walnut, I can name multiple options. And flaxseed is something that is so easy, Javas we call it in Marathi. And flaxseed is just you make powder. That's what I do. Just make a powder out of flaxseed. Add 1 tablespoon into your regular dough, where you make the rotis or you make your millet roti. Just add 1 tablespoon, and you're done with your omega 3 for the day. Okay. Another way to use flaxseed is actually we also make flaxseed chutney. So you just roast a little coconut, roast the flaxseed, just mix them together, few spices, and on the table, and you are set for a month. You just have a tablespoon with your food, and it tastes amazing with our spices. So it's such easy ways to replace your, regular omega 3 which you get from your fish and so on. Also, another thing about these food items that I spoke about, flax seeds and all of these hemp seeds, chia seeds, they are actually what happens. I've seen many times, Indians, if they come to know, like many of us, even I've done it, you come to know something is good for you, you overdo it. You're just munching on flax seeds throughout the day. I think we need to take care of that we balance whatever we eat. Yes, that's
So,
what I think. The
so
omega 3
rightly
is so
said.
easily available. Yes.
I think Prasansa, sorry, man, but plant-based curd and paneer doesn't come out in eatable.
I think she means it's not easy to set plant-based curd as much as you would, any other curd. But honestly, when you just try making plant-based curd at home through peanuts, anything, any kind of peanuts or cashews, if you just grind them with some water and you get the milk, nut milk as we call it. You get the nut milk, you heat it a little, warm it, and then you add chili seeds into it, green chili seeds, and you set it overnight. It sets pretty well, and you put it into the refrigerator, and it's ready to eat. And I feel like when you do these things, you get the probiotics also through this curd, and it tastes amazing. It gives you the flavor of curd. When you're vegan, I also used to miss the chaat items with all the yogurt goodness on top, but now I don't miss anything because I love peanut curd. And also, just to say, if you don't have the time to make these curds at home, there are certain brands who are you can buy them online or in the grocery stores. Peanut curd is very easily available today, and it's very it tastes very nice and flavorful, so easy to use, not so bad.
That's so interesting. We have
Yeah.
had many forms of peanut, but I think the farthest I've gone is peanut butter. Peanut
Yeah.
curd sounds so
Yes.
interesting. And now that you're saying it's tasty, I'm
And
actually
believe you me, if you make shrikhand out of cashews, I have shown the recipes on my page, so for those who want those, please go on my page and scroll a little. But shrikhand made with cashews, and you can add some almond, or you can add some keshur pista on the top, or you can add mango, and it tastes better than regular shrikhand. That's my opinion, but please try it once.
really, well, we love
Yes.
to. Like, oh my goodness. With mango, it tastes the best. And with
Yes,
season, it's
this
approaching.
mango shrikhand and keshur pista shrikhand, which I have shown on Gudi Padwa, if anybody checks out my page, it's yum.
We're checking out right after
Yes.
this session. So, you were telling us about perimenopausal and menopausal diet changes.
Yes.
The vegan steps we can take, which will actually make our lives easier, because there is that weight gain issue suddenly after 35,
Yes.
and
Yes.
our metabolism slows down.
Correct.
Something
Correct.
about that, ma'am. I think a
So,
lot of us would benefit from this.
yes, absolutely. Because even I feel like, perimenopause, menopause, there's so much of mood swings happening, hot flushes happening, night sweats happening, and it does happen to all of us. I remember when I first went into perimenopause, and prior to that, I've never complained of a headache or, nausea and things like that. And suddenly I was very emotional. I would cry at the smallest of silliest of things, and then I would be very angry at certain things. So then, after, of course, I was studying psychology at that point of time, and I realized that maybe it's mood swings, And I found that being vegan really worked and helped me with my, all the problems that are associated physiologically with menopause. Okay, so now we even talk about psychosomatic. Psychosomatic is basically mental health and physiological health, and there is a bridge which connects these two. So I always say that if there's something wrong with the mental health, it affects your your physical health. And if there's something wrong with the physical health, does tend to lead towards problems with your mental health. So we need to just see to it that both are in balance and keep it way smoother for ourselves. And as we get into menopause, and our age is also at that stage where we need more omega 3, we need more healthy fats for our brain and heart health, we need protein for our muscle growth, because our muscles are should not, people have these problems like osteoporosis or osteoarthritis, and so we need muscle preservation at that age. And so for all of this, the best thing to do is try and be more plant-based. It really, really helps, because plant-based foods are naturally high in fiber. So they help with your gut health, and your gut, the cleaner your gut is, the healthier you feel. When you eliminate dairy elements, you'll also find, that's my personal experience, that you feel less of bloating, you feel less of heaviness after eating your meals, whatever you're having. It also helps with your blood sugar sensitivity, or even with your inflammation of your body, because nowadays we talk a lot about inflammation making people feel huge, or they feel like I put on weight, but it's actually just inflammation, which is very true. So we just need a balanced diet. So like I always say, there are 3 things that I believe in psychologically as well. One is sleep well, eat well, and also exercise well. Nothing should be overdone. It should all be in the perfect balance. That's what I feel. And I tell you, it's not just about non-vegetarian. Even vegetarians find it very tough. I have friends today also who meet me and you tell, how do you do it? Hum log sab chai pee rahe, what are you doing? But actually it starts working after a point of time. It's very gradual. It doesn't come to you easy. But it is just like developing a taste for something new. I remember there was a time when sushi was very difficult for me. Cold rice and rolled and then served in some kind of a seaweed. It was a very strange concept. Today I am the one digging into most of the sushi on the plate. So it's just developing a taste for that food, taking your time with it, and just finding a few days to be that way. And then slowly over time, maybe if it works for you, everybody's body is different and it's going to work differently. But as menopausal women, or at that stage in life, yes, plant-based has been proven to work very well. If I say, like very simple replacements, you use more of peanuts, use more of peanuts for the protein as well. And you use more of tofu instead of the meat, because tofu gives you very good replacement for the protein. Then if you talk about, use a lot of fruits, seeds, nuts. Also, I would like to talk at this place about prebiotics and probiotics. So prebiotics and probiotics work very well in combination together. Okay. So prebiotics are basically their food for the bacteria which the probiotics are all about. These bacteria are gut-friendly bacteria, which is there in your regular curd, which is there in your, all these food items like which have probiotics like kefir, tempeh, kimchi, miso. They all have these probiotics. But we also need to give them the prebiotics, because the prebiotics are food for these bacteria. So what are the prebiotics? There's something like flaxseed, onions, oats, bananas, walnuts. When you combine these two, you have a super gut friendly space. Okay. Now, something that I just want to say over here, we have been doing all these things in our, since generations. You have onion raita. You have, these raitas where you're already adding all these things to your raita. You are combining pre with pro. Like there is onion and there is yogurt. So the combination is already there. So when you do these simple changes, like for example, if I was to just give you a daily diet, how you just find yourself following a plant-based diet, if that helps. So, morning you just start with a plant-based chai. So instead of your regular milk, you're adding almond milk or you're adding cashew milk. And of course, you cannot add too much of it. Just a little portion, just 2 tablespoons in a small cup of chai or coffee. And I personally, since I have started having this chai after 2 years of doing it consistently, now I really can't have the dairy chai. Now I was like, how could I have something so heavy and it's not tasting the same? So just start your day with plant-based chai with some nuts maybe. Then you can have a besan chila or you can have poha with peanuts. Poha with peanuts works very well. I like to even make poha with a lot of veggies, so you're adding a lot of vegetables plus peanuts. So you're getting everything in that one small dish. Okay, so you're having besan chila or you're having poha, and you can always have fruit, of course. Then your lunch could be something like as simple as a dal, sabzi, roti, rice, which we have always been having. We are predominantly actually pretty much vegan in our diet since generations. It's just that now we have started noticing what we're eating. So you have that. Then you can always have grilled tofu on the side for your protein. Okay. Then you also get these protein powders. It's of course a personal choice, but protein powders are made out of pea protein or they're made out of, brown rice. So you can add that if you're working out heavily in the gym or you work out with weights, then you could always also have a protein shake. So, what I'm finding these days is that most places have specific vegan cafes. And I prefer vegan cafes because I know that the food will be freshly cooked because there are very few people opting for it. So it's not something that is already frozen and just it is, warmed up and given to you. And towards the east, if you go towards Vietnam, South Korea, Bangkok, they're naturally vegan. Everywhere, I did not find any problem with getting plant-based milks. There were oat milk, soy milk, cashew milk, everything on the tables. Yes, in certain areas, like you said, which are very non-vegetarian at heart, it becomes a little difficult. But then I just make a simple request to the chef that just remove the non-veg element, whatever it is, suppose it is fish or suppose it is meat. Just get that off and replace it with tofu or something that is more easy for me to digest, or I just ask for a vegetable salad with none of the other items. And in that vegetable salad, invariably I find them adding soybean sprouts. They have so much of greens in their salads which are really fresh and beautiful. So once you start enjoying that kind of food, I don't think it is a problem anywhere. I even found vegan cheese fondue in Switzerland.
Oh
It was
wow,
just like
how
we
was it?
mailed them beforehand that yes, we are coming, we are vegan. Can you do something for us? We got vegan cheese fondue. So it's not so tough, if you just plan it a little better. And of course, I always carry my protein bars with me. And like I said, sing, chana, all of that with me. So it's easier when you're snacking. And for meals, of course, you need to make a little adjustments here and there. But it's easy if you're ready to adjust. Yes, absolutely. It happens to all of us. I have an aunt who turned lactose intolerant at the age of 70 plus. Suddenly, out of the blue, she says, the doctors told me I'm lactose intolerant. Now, what do I do? Because she spent her whole life having dairy with every item of food. So, you know what? Actually, I don't want to also get into too much of the scientific part of it, but there is this enzyme lactase, which everyone knows, which, a child is born with because they need to be able to digest their mother's milk. And of course, it helps, but over time, as you're weaning your child off, the enzyme production reduces. And so the small child also is meant to start eating the rest of the food. That is how it works, right? You're meant to eat everything else, not just to the milk. So, if you start finding that yes, your body is kind of not reacting favorably to certain food items, I think you can just try a trial period of replacing it with something else. Like you're lactose intolerant, obviously, veganism is the way to go because there's all these food items that you can replace it with. Yes, it takes time to start adjusting to the flavors and the taste. It's not as easy, but then you will feel your gut health improving. You'll feel yourself so much more healthy, and that kind of motivates you to keep trying more. That's how it worked for me. I know, I just felt like, okay, I'm not bloated. Even if I have dinner out with my friends and I have gone heavy, I've eaten everything possible, I do not feel as heavy as when I used to eat dairy, cheese, cream, all of that. So it helps definitely, and it's just trying to work out through small phases. But of course, if you are
Yeah.
having something like your lactose intolerance, then you just have to change your diet. Somebody who has gone through an heart surgery just has to change their diet. These are things which are, I mean, you just have to go for your health first.